sure hope our mics work. "15 seconds. Dave Campbell's Texas football headquarters in beautiful Carrollton, Texas. It is DCTF Live, a triumph of the human spirit. My name is Greg Tepper. I am the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine that's been around for 57 years, and TexasFootball.com, a website that's been around considerably fewer years. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We're here every weekday at noon talking football in the state of Texas. I am sitting here. Sitting there is Max Thompson. Max. Greg. How are you?
I'm great. Have you used that tagline for the show before?
What?
Whatever it was you just said.
What, a triumph of the human spirit?
Triumph of the human spirit, yes. Have you
No,
ever?
I don't think I have.
That's a new one?
That's a new one.
I like that one.
Yeah? Maybe I'll keep doing that.
You may have to keep that.
Wednesday, May 11th, 2016, episode 130. 130, the number of times that Craig Gentry struck out as a Texas Ranger. Better known as Kitten Face. Sweet, sweet, sweet Kitten Face.
Kitten Face, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a face like a kitten.
Okay. Does he play for the Angels now? Is that right?
I believe that's correct. He was with Oak for a while. Now I believe he was with La.
Okay.
A little bit later, we talk so much, Max, about teams that are dropping down a classification.
Right. Easy to get excited about those,
very
right?
easy to get excited
Oh, look
about.
at these guys. They're going to roll now that they're moving down.
Yeah, Denton Ryan, Colleyville Heritage, right?
Woo!
Teams that are making the drop down. But we don't talk so much about teams that are on the way up. And on the way up in the sense of jumping up a classification and which ones there can contend. So there's a handful of them that I want to get to. We'll get to those in a moment. And in a little bit, we will talk about some headlines, including some, for this time of year, a real flurry of Texas high school football coaching moves, which is a little bizarre. But
so exciting that you dressed up for it.
We will get to that in just a moment. No, our boss was here. Kind of our I guess,
one of our bosses?
Like our big boss, right? Like
a big boss?
Yeah, like we've got a guy who, it's a big boss, like a guy who signs paychecks boss. So he was here, which is why I had to get all dressed up for you. But I did it for you. I did it for you, the viewer.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Or people listening on the podcast.
I do like your commitment to it because I was also wearing a button-up shirt and a jacket earlier.
Can we talk about that?
Nah.
Can we talk about the sport coat?
Oh, we're going to go into the sport coat again.
I don't like sport coats.
Here we go.
I just don't think it's a good look.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't like the sport coat.
As I said earlier, it may not be a good look for you, but it looked good on me.
Most things are not a good look for me, though. Like,
okay.
Right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you should have an opinion then.
I just don't. I don't know. I've never understood that look. So I was rolling through, Max, another thing we do here at in order to we're working on the 2016 summer edition of Dave Campbell Texas Football, which goes to press 3 weeks from today.
Woo!
Goes to press 3 weeks from today, and there is not enough time in.
Here's a question before you get to that: how many words per day do you think you're outputting at this point?
I'm kind of done writing though.
Okay, well, so at your peak word output, including, remember, data entry, not just writing stories.
Data. If we're including data entry, like
right, that's
10,000 a day.
Yeah,
that was my peak.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do is obviously we do predictions, right? And that's a big thing people like in here. In the college ranks, that means that the only way to get like good bowl projections is to literally predict every game.
Right.
Every game, get everybody's record, figure out exactly how it
Sure.
all stacks up. Because otherwise, it's going to get cattywampus, and you're going to say, "Oh man, well that was, they can't be 9-3 because they're losing this, and this, and stuff." Anyway, point is, we've been rolling through all the schedules, and it struck me the other day how many weird neutral site games there are this year.
There are a lot.
We got a lot of them. For example, September 10th.
There's money to be made, Greg.
Tennessee and Virginia Tech play.
This is the coolest one, though.
They play at Bristol Motor Speedway.
The only thing that would be better is if they played at Folsom Prison.
That'd be pretty good.
That's about it.
This
is going to be pretty cool, I think.
Pretty good. Wisconsin and LSU are opening the season September 3rd in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. There was another one that I wanted to track down. It was the weirdest one of all. I think it was an ACC game. Oh, well, Georgia Tech and Boston College are playing in Dublin.
Yes, but the Dublin game is a series, right?
Yeah, it's a new
They do it
thing.
every year.
That's
Notre
the
Dame
Irish,
has done it.
Yeah. The Irish.
Actually, when I was in Dublin not too long ago, a few weeks ago, there were large banners all over the city promoting the game.
Here was the one I was looking for. What are you doing August 26th, Max? August 26th, I believe, is the day after the first Friday football
Is it?
Friday?
God, do they start that early? I feel like that's...
August 26th is actually a Friday. So
I was
going to say,
that is the Friday, yeah. I will be watching high school football.
You'll be watching Fox Football Friday, powered by Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Possibly.
Or, if you're not, I don't know what time this game starts. August 26th, there's a college football game. You know about this?
Probably.
Cal is playing Hawaii in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sydney,
okay.
Australia.
Yeah.
That is kind of weird. Gotta admit that is a little bit weird. So we were rolling through that, and those were things that kind of jumped out to me. Also, Air Force and New Mexico are playing at the Cotton Bowl.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Yeah.
Air Force and New Mexico are playing in the Cotton Bowl. I think I think both teams wanted to get a game in the DFW Metroplex, which why wouldn't you for recruiting reasons?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of interesting. We'll have all your predictions in the 2016 Summer Edition Dave Campbell Texas Football, which you can pre-order on TexasFootball.com.
It is available. Yeah.
If you want to pre-order the magazine, TexasFootball.com. If you pre-order it, then I believe it will be shipped directly from the printer to you.
Yeah.
So you won't have to go run and grab it. To me, that's the real value in the pre-order.
Sure.
Because we hear it every year. It's like, I can't find the magazine. I can't find the magazine. That's me. That's what I sound like. I can't find the magazine.
Yeah.
You know what? Remove the middleman. Because it gets to different parts of the state at different times, and it's in different stores at different times, and sometimes stores aren't great about putting it out as soon as they get it.
That's true.
Order it online.
Yeah.
Show up in your mailbox. Be done.
Yeah.
Or you can be a subscriber, a Legends or Champions subscriber, and you can get it early.
Yeah,
that's right.
Lots of other perks.
You can get it before it hits shelves, a week before it hits shelves, if you want to subscribe at TexasFootball.com. Isn't that amazing? So this is the first of many, many plugs to come as we work on this magazine. So, Max, let's get to some headlines.
Okay.
Oh, we're DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We have a website. Okay. Headlines.
Yeah.
The first one, which came down, actually, I believe, while we were in our meeting this morning.
Yes, this morning.
The report out of Prosper.
Yeah.
The relatively affluent community northeast of Dallas, is that Chris Ross is out.
Yeah.
Chris Ross, who made his name first as the head coach down there at Cedar Park. Chris Ross has left his post, not for another high school gig. No. He is joining the staff at Boise State.
It's a long way away, Greg.
It is a long way away.
Long way from here.
They have promoted their their offensive coordinator, so it's just stepping in, stuff like that. But yeah, that seems like I think when we talk so much about, and you and I have been very big on this, about how we think that word is getting out that Texas high school football coaches are really, really, really valuable assets to have on your staff.
Yeah.
They're just really valuable
They
assets.
are great football minds. And, oh, by the way, would you like some inroads to Texas?
Yes. And I think when we talk about it, we think so much about teams in the teams that recruit around here and teams in conferences with teams in Texas. So when Texas went and got Jeff Traylor from Gilmer, okay, we talked
Very
about
smart.
that. When Texas Tech went and got Mike Jinks out of Cibolo Steel.
Very smart.
When Kansas hired David Beatty to be their head coach, and then he's brought in a number of other head coaches or college coaches, rather high school coaches. I haven't slept a lot.
That's all right.
High school coaches to be on his staff. When Corby Meekins made the jump from Spring Westfield to Houston's staff.
Yeah. Way back when Chad Morris jumped to Tulsa to be their offensive coordinator.
I think we think a lot about that, but those are all kind of in they're all kind of in the funnel. You know what I mean? They're all kind of in these are teams that are already recruiting in Texas. These are teams that are already coming down here. They have major inroads. They have a lot of reason to be down here. But we do not, by the way, Ryan Rue is about to hit a home run. Ready?
Wow.
We just did. I nailed it. So we think about that, Big 12 teams. It makes sense. Or teams that have recruiting inroads already. Here's Boise State.
Right.
Boise State could not be farther away from the funnel. Right?
Yeah.
Could not be. They're in the Pac-12. Oh, no, they're not in the Pac-12. They're in the Mountain West, which now that TCU's not in the Mountain West anymore, doesn't matter.
No geographic
There's
tie.
no geographic tie. They're in the Mountain West, and they are just kind of way up there, by the way. They're in Idaho.
Yeah.
But I think that makes Texas high school football coaches even more valuable to them because now they actually have a little bit of a pipeline, a little bit of a thread leading to the vast recruiting landscape of Texas.
Right. And if you look at the recruiting figures and signings from the last year, Boise State's already hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
They're already spending a lot of time in Texas, and I think this is just another way to solidify the footprint.
Then you think about it. They've already, some of their best talent have come from Texas. Jay Ajayi, their running back, was from the Frisco area, I think Wakeland. So this is they have a little bit of a history, but I think going and grabbing Chris Ross from Prosper, very savvy move for Boise State. Boy, I bet Prosper's not happy though. I'm sure their offensive coordinator is going to do a fine job, and they'll keep things relatively consistent. But to lose a quality coach like that, that hurts Prosper, especially this late in the game. So
yeah, it's been a pretty winding path for him since Cedar Park.
He
was there for a while, 6 years, 7 years, and then
2 years of Prosper, I believe.
Leander was the AD for the Leander ISD for a while, then Prosper, and now he's out of the state.
It's been a
Pretty
wild road. Elsewhere, you've got links in the roundup. Apparently, people have never figured out that Texas high school football is kind of a big deal, and we take it kind of seriously.
Yes,
there are a lot of pieces out there about this McKinney ISD stadium.
Can I just throw something out there?
Sure.
Where was all this for the Katy Stadium?
Or the Allen Stadium? The Allen Stadium,
but
there was a certain...
Katy was a few weeks ago. Allen was years ago, or a couple years. Katy just happened, and no one said boo.
Yeah.
McKinney, it's the same price, basically, and everyone's losing their minds all over the country.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, again, I'll restate my position. We can certainly have a debate as to whether or not this is the best use of taxpayer funds. Absolutely. I'm willing and open to have that debate. For sure. But why is it all of a sudden the focus is on McKinney when this is happening all over the place?
Yeah.
Crosby just opened up a big new stadium. It didn't cost as much as that, but...
I'm sorry, just Allen and Katy didn't receive nearly... Where's Frisco?
Allen,
where's the heat for Frisco? All this stuff... None of these places received this kind of heat in a concentrated batch.
Now, Allen didn't... The thing is, Allen... What's interesting to me is that these responses have been largely critical of McKinney ISD.
Now, there have been a lot of people that have been excited and praising it as well, mostly locals.
Sure.
But it is a little intense.
Here's the thing, is that when the Allen Stadium first opened and when the Allen Stadium first got bonded, almost entirely almost entirely positive. It was almost entirely, maybe not positive, but like, wow, would you look at that? It was at least neutral. Like, oh, wow, look at that. That's kind of crazy. Oh, Texas high school football, they're pretty wacky.
Yeah.
You know, and then as you mentioned, when the Katie thing comes down about what, a month and a half ago?
The next logical step.
Month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, well, there's not much, basically.
Yeah.
And then McKinney comes along. Why is that? Why is that?
You know what the flip side is? I really do. People may say I'm wrong. I think it comes back to they're not good enough to spend this kind of money on a stadium. Like, I think there's a natural bias in people that makes them flip out about this.
That's
like,
interesting.
Oh, Alan and Katie, I understand they need all those seats. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't see why it's any different.
I don't think that should make any difference.
I don't think
whatsoever.
it should make any difference at all. But I think it factors with these people.
I think you're probably right. That just drives me crazy. The New York Times wrote about it.
It's so
the old gray lady.
Yeah.
It's I don't understand the backlash.
I don't understand
again, there's a worthy debate of
absolutely.
whether or not this is a good use of it.
Yeah. But all of this is like why it's all being taken out on McKinney when this has been going on for a while with other schools around the state. Take it up with the whole state if you want to have this conversation.
Take it up with me.
Ooh. Take it up with Greg.
The managing editor of a 400-page magazine largely devoted to high school football. You jerks. Anyway, a couple other moves that come out. Beaumont Ozan is looking for a coach. David Suggs has resigned as athletic director and head coach. So Beaumont Ozan, probably. I mean, they're certainly not Westbrook. And Ozan, for those who don't know, Central is kind of the main high school down there in Beaumont, and then Ozan is actually a magnet school. But Ozan is without a coach now. David Suggs has resigned there as athletic director and head coach. You know, there's room for growth there. I mean, you always look at magnet schools, and you say, all right, well, there's some value there because in theory you can go and pluck the very best and brightest from Beaumont Central, but
you also have to look attractive enough to those players and those families too.
Absolutely. So it's an interesting. I'm interested to see who goes down there, and then two other things. One, and I didn't send you the note for this, so I don't think we have a headline for it. But Houston Northbrook's hired Katie Taylor assistant Jeff Sheba, I believe, Skyba maybe SCIBA as their head coach. But then the other one, this one caught my eye. Or Beeville Jones has been without a coach. They've been looking for a coach. They have made a hire. They've gone and grabbed Orangefield coach Jerry Bomar. And if that name rings a bell, that is Rhett Bomar's dad. Yeah. And Rhett Bomar recently went and got a job. I think he's at Freer. I want to say he's somewhere like that with the Buckaroos. I want to say. But he was his assistant, his offensive coordinator, and now Jerry, his dad, a longtime luminary of Texas high school football, is leaving Orangefield to go take the job at Beeville Jones. So Beeville Jones has made a pretty decent splash this late in the game.
Correct on Freer, by the way.
Was I?
Yeah.
Woo!
Easy.
Nailed it. So yeah, I don't know. That's for this time of year. To have, like, by the way, Richardson hired Arlington Lamar defensive coordinators as their head coach. But for this time of year, I know everybody's trying to sew it up before the school year ends. But this is a relatively interesting flurry. Obviously, Chris Ross leaving is something that works on its own timetable. But Ozan losing their coach, and now Orangefield losing their coach. Very, very, very interesting. So we will keep you up to date on all coaching changes in the Lone Star State. We are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. You can like us on Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. You can follow us on Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. And subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. I said that right? I think I did.
But what does
I
it
gotta
hurt to
tell
say
you,
it again?
guys.
What does it hurt to say
and I
it
made
again?
I made this comment in the if I may. I made this comment in the in the meeting.
As long as you actually point it towards your mouth, we're fine.
I have not gotten a lot of sleep in the past week or so. I'm running on fumes right now. Yeah. So if I just space out in the middle of a sentence,
I got you.
That's why. Just like cut to like a video of like a chimp. It's all the same, right? Honestly, our ratings would go up if we just started running chimp videos.
Yeah, for sure. No, there's no question.
Somebody wants to buy us a chimp.
I'm getting less sleep than I'm used to, but unlike you, I'm one of those like, no, I need to sleep.
You're stopping.
I have to sleep, or my day, I will be pointless the next day.
I'm very bad. I'm very bad at that because I am the guy who,
wait till you're my age, buddy.
If you're like a year and a half older than I am.
Just you wait. It's coming.
When I'm the guy that if I start something,
you got to finish it before.
I want to finish it before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, even though this is the 6th summer magazine I've done, 6th summer, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6th summer magazine, I'm still not a good judge of that. I still bite off more than I can chew.
Sure.
Adam Eaton's about to line out to Elvis Anderson. They're going to win.
Yeah.
Bang, nailed it. I'm still that guy who I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go and do. So last night I was doing the stat leaders thing I sent you, the high school stat leaders, which we'll have in the magazine. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to finish this thing. It's just going to take a couple minutes, stuff like that. Took like 45 extra minutes, and at that point I had started at like 12:45, and I look up, and all of a sudden it's like 1:30, and I've got one other thing I want to do. I'm like, oh no, crap. So I went to bed at 2, and then we had to be in here early, and I am just tired. Anyway, so Max,
Greg,
we talk a lot when UIL realignment comes around about teams that drop down. And for good reason, right? Because they are going from being the small fish in the big pond to being the big fish in the small pond. So if you are a team like Denton Ryan, a reason that we're very high on Denton Ryan in 2016 is because they were a really good 6A team last year that now will be playing smaller schools. Yeah. They will be the bigger fish in the smaller pond, which should bode well for Dave Hennigan.
A reminder to everyone that Denton Ryan went toe-to-toe with Allen for most of their playoff game.
In many respects, you could make an argument they should have beaten them. So, and now they're dropping down. They're bringing back a lot of guys.
Buckle up, 5A.
Exactly. But what we don't talk a lot about is the opposite, because for every team that's moving up, there's also a team that's moving down. And so I took a look at some of the teams that are jumping up a classification that we think have a chance to contend, or at least have the best chance to contend. Let's start with 5A moving up to 6A, and there's only one choice here, right? It's got to be the defending 5A Division I state champion, George Ranch. Yeah. Richmond George Ranch is of course, went 16-0 last year. They were just sensational in that title game. The last time we saw them,
did we see them?
If that's their last ever 5A game, which there's a decent chance it is. If that's their last ever 5A game, that's a way to go out. Woo! Because they throttled Mansfield Lake Ridge. So if you believe Mansfield Lake Ridge, again, a little bit banged up, but if you believe that Mansfield Lake Ridge is the best team, is the second best team in 5A, then what does that make George Ranch, right? So now the Longhorns are making the move up. They're making the move from 5A up to Class 6A. And they're losing a lot of the guys that you remember. They're losing Darius Anderson. Yep. He's at TCU now. He was amazing. They're losing Mikhail Onu in the secondary. He's at SMU. But they've also got, I think, and they're in a very interesting district with the Pearland schools, but I think that this defense has a chance to be just as good. Yeah. Toby Ndukwe and Adam Beck should be very good. Now, of course, these George Ranch teams, generally known for their running game, and it looks like Alex Fontenot is going to be the new guy.
Which is fine, because he looked pretty good, too.
And they bring back their quarterback, Antonio Jackson. Basically, there is a prevailing thought, actually, out there, and folks that I've talked to around George Ranch, there is a prevailing thought that 6A Division II may actually be a little easier than 5A Division I.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, they're not going to have the depth that a lot of other programs their size are going to be going up against, but
I do think the region will be tougher.
The region's tough. Katy, North Shore, Pearland,
but Katie's
George
Ranch,
Division I.
They'll
be
correct?
Division I.
Yeah.
Pearland will be Division I. North Shore will be Division I. But Ridge Point, a few other squads. They should be a very, very good team. The other thing to watch is that I think that their best is yet to come. I think that you're looking at a very strong sophomore and junior class. So
I think
while
building.
there may be a step back this year, And by a step back, I mean they might not win the state title. But I think that I think that's something you've got to watch out for. George Ranch, just because they're moving up classification, don't count them out.
Yeah.
To me, the biggest gap in classifications is always 4A to 5A.
Okay.
That's the jump for me because and this tends to bear itself out that if you take a very good 4A and you take a very good 5A and you put them up against each other, 5A is going to win most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
5A, 6A, a little more, you can transpose a little bit more. Obviously, if you got a team like Allen, which has 6,000 kids in it versus a team, with 1,400 kids, that's going to be different. But I think 4A to 5A is the biggest leap. And so I don't know if there's a team that's making the jump from 4A to 5A that can go in and really compete. The best of the bunch is probably Houston Fur. The Brahma Bulls are making the leap up from 5A or from 4A.
That's
up
a big
to
move
5A.
for Brahma. Yeah.
They're moving up. Fur is making the leap, and I think that with 5-5 last year, they have a lot coming back. 7 starters on offense, 8 on defense. The guys to know, especially defensively, Reginald Robinson and Michael Singleton. But I'm not sure. I don't know if they're a contender. They weren't necessarily a contender in 4A.
Right.
They were decent.
Yeah.
Not necessarily 4. I don't know if there's necessarily a team that's going to up and make that leap. In 3A, moving from 4A or moving from 3A up to 4A, I really wish this has happened last year. I really wish this happened last year.
You could say that about the next one too.
Yeah, because I think that Brownfield is a team making the move up from 3A to 4A, but I think they may be due for a very small step back.
Right.
They went 8-2 last year. This was a very solid squad. They do bring back Jalen Nolan, who is already getting offers from all over the place. In fact, if he signs with an FBS team, I believe he'll be the first Brownfield player ever to sign with an FBS team.
Wow, seriously?
I believe that's correct.
Seems surprising.
I believe that's correct. But they bring back Jezreel Griffin. They bring back Isaiah Hood. But the problem is they're stepping into what I think is a very difficult district. Okay,
Yeah,
Perryton's going to be tough. Bushland's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Dalhart's always tough. This is going to be a very difficult district. And not to mention that they're going up into 4A Division 2, which should be pretty tough. I think they'll be about the same. I think maybe they were a little bit better, a little more explosive last year. They may be a little deeper this year. They do got that dude. They got Jalen Nolan, who's going to keep them in a lot of games.
For sure.
But that's kind of tough. That
and
that
from
dude
3A to 4A. doesn't always translate in 4A.
Mm-hmm.
It is. There's a leap there.
Yeah.
It's,
We
it's a
talk
depth
about
thing.
it. We talk about it especially like at the 2A level. Like, for example, if you took Bremont, and we are big fans of Bremont, and we're big fans of Rashad Paul. Yeah. If you took Bremont and you made them from 2A into 3A, I'm not sure they'd be as good.
Yeah.
Because as you move up, the single elite player
wearing the cape
becomes less and less, right?
Yeah.
When you think about all the guys that we've seen in state title games put on the cape, okay, James Washington at Stanford, D. Paul at Monday, David Mora at Mason. When you think about these guys over the past 10 years who have they've all come from that small school level, Rashad Paul.
Right.
They've all come from the 2A level. So I think that as you move up, it gets more and more difficult for them to be that one guy who makes that leap. And then
the big one.
There's the real intriguing one, and that's Canadian.
Yeah, man.
So Canadians moving from 2A up to 3A, much to the delight of 2A.
Right.
They are thrilled. They're saying, bye.
Stratford is like, thank you.
See you later.
See you, bye.
And this was another example of a squad that I kind of wish this happened last year.
Right.
Because you and I have talked about this Canadian team last year that won the 2A Division I title, one of the more dominant teams we've ever seen. Yeah. They were unreal. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, and we talked about how I think they would have won any 3A title, and I think they would have challenged West Orange Stark for the 4A Division II title. Yep. I don't think they would have beaten La Vega or Argyle, but I do think they would have challenged West Orange Stark for the 4A Division II title. That said, they're losing Tanner Schaefer, they're losing Chance Cook, they're losing Sawyer Cook, they're losing
Cooks,
Corey Chidester, they're losing Benigo Heredia, who was a super good kicker and can't be overstated in the small school ranks. Yeah. They bring back guys like Cameron Copley and Holton Hofstedler and Manny Ramsey. And look, Chris Ketting's squad isn't going anywhere. Right. They're not going to go from being one of the most dominant small school programs in the state to falling down.
And as I talked to Coach Ketting a few days ago for the magazine, and as he pointed out, they're not used to this, right? They go back and forth. They have a lot over the last 10 years. This isn't something that phases them.
And this happens a lot in those West Texas teams. Amarillo's another team that's always towing that line between 5A and 6A.
Yeah.
Here's one. Canadians, it's always going to be a matter of numbers. It's going to be about 10, 20 either way, whether or not they're going to go 4A or 3A or 2A. Now they're in 3A. And I think the combination of moving up a classification and losing that outstanding class, I think they can compete, especially in Region 1. I think Region 1 is winnable for them. But, I think it's going to be, it's going to be pretty tough. Look, out there, you got Childress, who's in their own district, by the way. Cisco, Idalou, Eastland, Sonora. Throw a couple more in there.
Childress is the one that I think a lot of the coaches are keeping an eye on. They bring a lot of guys back. Coach Sims does a good job.
And again, you're going from being one of the biggest teams in your district to being one of the smallest, or if not the smallest. So it should be interesting, but those are teams that are jumping up.
But I think the point, though, to get back to is while we do think it's a challenge, I think Canadian can win Region 1.
I think you're right. I don't think there's any reason not to believe they can. It's just going to be interesting to see that newer challenge. So. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Vince Young, please get your Player of the Year trophy. And we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.